Okay, Israel. Hope everybody's doing well this Monday. Shout out Kawakablin's congregation in Guatemala. Hope your brothers and sisters are doing Tawab today. Also, shout out Kazaki at SOW Virginia, Quatzap SOW Houston, and Zion SOW Rochester, New York. Hope everybody's staying strong in the faith. We're just getting through these days one by one. You know what I mean? You sit back and look at the signs of the times. Things aren't looking great. It's got like a combination of things that are going bad, but it's at a pace to where we still have time for repentance. So we should really sit back here and take advantage of the time we have to work on what's inside of us. Because I'm telling you, in the blink of a moment, the twinkling of an eye, everything's going to change. So let's really pray and work on ourselves while we have the time to actually fix what's inside of us. Because I'm telling you, we take for granted the time we have and the people that we're with, and we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste time in our head, angry, bitter, whatever we're going through. Let's make sure we work through these things and keep our eyes on the prize. But without further ado, the title of the class is Understanding the Cost of Building Spiritually, Part 3. This was the title of the class last week initially. But for those who listen, we didn't really get to that topic. The Spirit kind of took us different directions. And we kind of had to. Last Monday was one of those days you kind of go with the flow. You go with the Spirit. And the Spirit took it that direction, so we go with that direction. Today, we want to go into David. And we want to kind of go into David's life. 2 weeks before this, we went into the cost of building spiritually. And we hyper-focused on the commitment of the body of Christ to give personal belongings, to give resources up so that the tabernacle was taken care of. And that is a form of sacrifice. That's a form of dedication. And the tone of the class was supposed to be good and positive. Sometimes it goes in a more of a critical scenario, but the purpose was to show that when we unite, the Most High honors our sacrifice to get something done. And what we did during the tabernacle time was a testament to us giving according to how the Most High has enriched us. We left Egypt rich, or we left Egypt with things, and we gave up some of the best of our items so that the tabernacle could thrive and the tabernacle could have what it needed to operate the proper way. Now we know that when the people of Israel were given to the tabernacle, they were indirectly given to the Heavenly Father. The same way we operate today. When we're sitting back here and working for the body, working for the camp, yes, it's for the camp, but it's really for the Most High. Whenever we sacrifice, whenever we tithe, whenever we give alms, the offerings are for the Most High, and we got to make sure we're conscious of that. And Exodus 34 kind of explained the power in unity. But today we're going to go more on an individualistic level to show what the cost of building spiritually looks like on an individual level. And that there's different levels to giving. There's different levels to commitment. But always, as our camp in Sword of Truth, we're going to always explain and teach what were the greatest examples of giving spiritually. What were the greatest examples of commitment for the work and commitment for the nation and dedication for the nation. And as you're reading about David and the commitment he gave to Israel, even though we're not David, a lot of the things we're going over and going through are precedents that need to be shown through our example. Other camps, other schools, other brothers, other people need to see what unity looks like on another level, what commitment to one another is on another level. So as you're reading about David, I can't say for sure he was conscious of this when he was going through these things, but what he was going through wasn't just for him. It was for the next generation after him and for many generations to come.
And he was conscious of that because when he wrote, he said he didn't want to offend against the generations. When he wanted to tap into the spirit of complaint, he said, I'm not going to tap into this because it's important that I don't offend against the generations.
Then I'm corrected then. And he knew exactly what he was doing. Sometimes in the midst of the battle, you might not think the magnitude? Does he think about the magnitude of his efforts and the magnitude of his sacrifices when he was in the cave? Did he consider that what he was going through in that cave running from Saul and his conduct was the very template of how Israelites today have to learn not to be the victim and still be spiritual? His actions, more than that, gave us a template of how to act and how to think for us to build down the line. So, the first verse we're going to go into is 1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 14. 1 Samuel 13 and verse 14. Let's get that started again.
1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought him a man after his own heart.
First of all, this is Samuel talking to Saul. Saul had multiple chances to pass his test, so to speak. He had multiple chances to fix the things inside of him so he can get rewarded with prolonged time in the kingdom. But because he failed those tests, the prophet Samuel came to him, bringing him a message saying, listen, a man after the Most High's mind is coming behind you. Because if you remember, Saul was the biggest, strongest warrior we had in the nation. And Israel wanted the biggest, baddest, strongest guy to represent them versus the most humble, the most dedicated, and the most selfless of the bunch. The Most High said, okay, Saul, I'm removing you and I'm going to send a man after the Most High's own heart. But we'll have to go into and deep dive what made David a man after the Most High's own heart. We know some of his works that you read about in Psalms and 1st and 2nd Samuel, but there's way more to it than that. So, read on in verse 14.
And the Lord had commanded him to be a captain over his people.
So, when you read about a captain, you think a captain is a military officer, military leader, and that's true. But he was really an example and a leader for his nation, and the Most High chose David to be a leader for his people. What do you think we're being called to be? Leaders for our people. This is how you have to process, why did I get the knowledge? Why was I called into the truth? Or as a wife, why was I called to sit back and meet this person and be a part of this lifestyle? A lot of times I think we trivialize the opportunities we get and the life we're living as if we're just going through the motions, selling oils, lifting boxes, having sciatica, having herniated disc. You're just going through the motions like, what the hell are we doing? Breaking our bodies, catching hell, getting grays and receiving hairlines out here. What are we doing this for? Being tempted to get hair color out when you don't need to no more. Listen, whatever's in your head, whatever thought is in your head, just know you don't got to do it, dog. Don't do it, man. Listen, don't look into like natural research, natural options, natural henna. I heard henna was really good for the hair. It's good for your hair too.
Hey, if you burn too much,
yeah. The Indians of East India, they use henna all the time. I think that's the move. Listen, I'm joking, but what I'm explaining is we look at our life and the difficulties that we go through, but we're not realizing that we were chosen to be leaders of our own people too. Because even though this Israelite movement is growing, we're still a very scarce amount. There's not a lot of people in the grand scheme of things, which means we have the opportunity to lead a lot of our nation. And you have to lead them through your works, and your works come from your understanding. So just like David was chosen to be a captain of his people, we're being chosen to sit back here and captain and lead the jurisdictions and the responsibilities the Most High has us responsible for.
and it's pioneering. You're setting the pace, you're setting the tone for what it's supposed to be.
And we need to really keep that in mind in the midst of our battles, in the midst of what we're going through. I think last Monday or a couple of weeks ago, there was a brother who pulled a verse about everything we're going through to help other people.
Yeah.
And I forgot who pulled it, but it was a right on point verse.
Second Corinthians 1. That was that whole series.
Yeah, because it talks about everything we're suffering, everything we're losing, everything we're having to give up. We have to teach other people how to do it. What does that mean? That means we are being taught how to be captains and leaders of our own people. Whether we have the literal rank of captain or leader or general, our actions and the things we overcome thrust us in a position of leadership. Like I've mentioned many times, you're only as good as the battle you've overcome. So having years in the truth doesn't matter unless you understand how to fight the things in you and share it to people that you come across in your life.
Share your victories.
Share your victories, not your bitterness, not your anger, not your complaints, but your victories. Can you get through a battle and see the good in it and get through the other side? So, let's explain this to say that David was chosen to do this. So are we on a smaller level. Okay? So, continue.
And the Lord had commanded him to be a captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord had commanded.
So the Most High constantly lets us know if a person isn't going to lead and fight their battle, the Most High is going to send somebody else who will. That's another point for us. We are not that damn important to where we are unreplaceable.
We're expendable.
None of us from the top to the bottom are not expendable. We all can be replaced if we make a decision not to serve the Most High and make him priority and fight to lead other people. Okay, so this is what happened with Saul and David. What the Most High said, David was a man after his own heart, and we're going to kind of go into a little more detail about that. Next verse, 1 Corinthians chapter 22, verse 17. Did I say Corinthians? 1 Chronicles. Salaki, 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 17.
Come. 1 Corinthians, 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 17.
And that was my fault, my order. Salaki.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
David also commanded all the princes of Israel to help Solomon, his son.
Now listen. This is at the end of Solomon's reign. David's reign. This is at the end of David's reign, the beginning of Solomon's. How long did David reign on earth as a king? Does anybody remember?
20 years.
40. He reigned 40 and Solomon reigned 40. Okay, so this is towards the end of that 40-year reign. And, we read about in other verses how he had gotten weakened. He couldn't go to war. In order to stay warm, he brought like the most beautiful woman in the nation to lay on his bed and keep him warm. She was a Carmelite. Yes, she was. A Carmelite. That was her tribe. And that was Issachar. And she was the baddest of the nation. And her job was just to keep him warm. So, then that was him. No, it's Carmelite. So, point is at this age, he did everything he could. He reigned for 40 years. And his example was potent. He made mistakes, but he had a great run. But we're going to read about what he did in his preparations with Solomon, for Solomon, and understand one aspect of why the Most High said he was a man after his own heart. Read verse 18.
Come, verse 18. Is not the Lord your power with you?
So the Most High is telling Solomon, hey, the Most High is with you like he was with me. Read on.
And have he not given you rest on every side?
David said, the Most High gave you rest, Solomon, on every side. What does that mean?
No more wars.
No wars. Listen, it is a massive blessing to not have multiple antagonists sitting back here threatening to invade your territory, threatening to destroy your family, threatening to take over what you built. That is one of the greatest blessings you can get. And when you read in Deuteronomy 28, verse 1 through 14, it tells you that's one of the blessings that comes from the Most High. Now, David right here is showing how modest and humble he is. But he said, listen, the Most High has blessed you, Solomon, because you have no wars around you, no uprising, no armies you have to contend with.
Nothing pulling your mind.
Nothing distracting you to do your job. That's a blessing. That is a blessing on earth to have no distractions. So you can sit back here and focus on doing your work for the Most High. It doesn't get more beautiful than that. At least in the Most High's lens. Read on.
Come. For he hath given the inhabitants of the land into my hand, And the land is subdued before the Lord and before his people.
So what is David saying to Solomon? Listen, man, I fought and I busted my tail so that you can be in a position to build the temple and get the glory. How long do you think David was living in his empire going to war? Does anybody know?
Most of his
When you look into the history, he was fighting for 30 years in his realm. And he only had 40 in power. So 30 years he was fighting wars. Selfless. Would you want your life to be that way? 30 years of fighting wars? No break? You just war after war after war after war after war after war so that the nation can be in a position after you die to flourish. Think about the level of selflessness that takes and how great of a man you have to be to say, I'm going to throw my life away by just killing
Because you can't have a
Philistines.
good time. And all you gotta do is kill every day.
Listen, listen,
Be comfortable.
listen. Do you know David would like to play the music? He was a musician. David liked to sing, man.
Your dreams, huh?
He was, but he used to play the string instruments, huh? He used to play the harp. You don't think he wanted to play the harp and just be in the kingdom and have gold on, like, with robes?
D great.
With the letter D? Like Laverne and Shirley Diak? You know, it's fancy like elves, like they had Laverne and Shirley Diak. They're really fancy, like elves in shape with his letters out, with his robes. You don't think he wanted that? Is that what he got? No, he didn't get that. What he got? Syrians this summer. Guess what? It's getting cold.
It's coming.
Now, after the winter, you got to get ready to fight these Philistines down the way. And that's how it went. The war started right after the ice started melting. It's time to go to war. So you're getting all your gear and your preparation in the fall to go to war again the next summer. So it's like 30 springs of fighting. Can you imagine the mental toll that is? There's no break. There's no comfort. And that was after he was on the run for 10 years from Saul. So there was no break leading up to the kingdom. Then there was civil war for 7 years when he was king of Hebron. It was civil war between Judah and Benjamin for 7 years. Then for the next 33 years, or I'm going to say 23 years, he's fighting wars then. Because he had to fight to unify the nation. Well, he was on the run. He had to fight 7 years to unify the nation. And then once the nation is unified, 23 more years, he's sitting here fighting everybody around him. So that Solomon can get the credit for being the greatest, wisest, most powerful king ever. Listen, does David get the credit for doing everything necessary to set up Solomon? Not as much as you should. Solomon gets the credit. Queen Sheba came down and said, man, you cold, Solomon. Yeah, it's wisdom of the Most High. Whoop-de-whoop. Whoop-de-whoop. I got some knowledge, you know what I'm saying? I built. Look at what I built. Now, we're going to sit back and read about what was really built. And what we're going to, am I knocking Solomon? No. But it's understanding what it takes to build anything in Christ. A lot of times, there is a lot of selflessness that comes along with it. It's a lot of loss that comes into doing the right thing. There's a lot of loss that comes into making sure the nation gets taken care of. And I don't think we are conscious enough of it. We don't talk about it enough. There is a consequence for living right and being an example so that others can learn from you. So we're going to let that verse go. And we're going to go to 1 Chronicles 28 and verse 3.
1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse 3.
Now, read verse 2.
1 Chronicles 28, verse 2.
Matter of fact, verse 1. We might as well go to verse 1. 1 through 3.
1 Chronicles 28, verse 1. And David assembled all the princes of Israel the princes of the tribes and the captains of the companies that ministered to the king by course, and the captains over the thousands, and captains over the hundreds, and the stewards over all the substance and possession of the king and of his sons, with the officers and with the mighty men, and with all the valiant men unto Jerusalem. Then David the king stood up upon his feet and said, Hear me, my brethren, and my people. As for me, I had in mine heart to build an house of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Most High, and for the footstool of our power, and had made ready for the building.
So David said, I did all the preparation to get the house of the Most High myself. This was David's baby. This was David's goal and hope, was to sit back and gather all of the... Listen, why do you think he went to war for?
Let's go.
David said, I'm going to go to war and fight these nations and fight for 30 years so I can have enough peace in the region after I fought 7 years to bring unity in the nation. So that one day I can sit back here and build the temple of the Most High and let it be the Most High's footstool.
And that parallel is no different than Moses giving his whole life and not getting to get to the physical land of Israel.
And the funny thing, and this is also explaining this. When we first come into knowledge, we come into the knowledge with these worldly expectations of what we want. And then the Most High starts stripping that down and taking away those worldly goals, taking away those worldly expectations. And then once we have to give up those worldly expectations, then we sit back and start setting goals, spiritual goals and spiritual expectations to strive for. And we bust our tail and we sacrifice and we dedicate and we put it on the line for spiritual achievement, spiritual goals, a desire to be perfect in Christ and to build this and to build that and to create this and dedicate ourselves to that. That's where our mind goes after you give up your worldly aspirations. And this is where David is. He says, you know what? I'm going to go all in with this. I'm going to sit back and unite the Jews. Then I'm going to sit back here. And once we're united, we're going to go to war with everybody around us. We're going to have peace in the region. Once there's peace, then I can start collecting tariffs and taxes. Then I can collect all these items and get the resources needed to build this temple and make it spectacular.
And for people to understand this, when you're this A-type personality, where you're risking your life for certain things, you're not doing it to not complete it. You're not going to do it and not feel content. You're not going to feel a sense of contentment if you don't complete the task.
Listen, when you sit back here and you fight yourself tooth and nail every day to get it, you do it to finish.
You don't
do it to finish the race.
Yeah.
And your reason for fighting all the battles in between is to get to the finish line. Why am I saying this? This was David's MO. This was his reason for fighting. This was his reason for fighting Philistines, Syrians, Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, you name it. And he took 30 years of war. And then he saved all the riches and the monies he collected. He saved it and stacked it. Because you're going to read, he took monies out of his own bank account, his own treasury to get the school set up. He sat back here and collected all the finite items necessary to set the temple up. And then read what verse 3 says.
Verse 3, For the Most High said unto me, Thou shalt not build an house for my name.
Can you imagine you sit back here and dedicate your life to build the house of the Most High? And Moses says, no, I don't want you to do it.
Not you.
And then why? What was his reason for not letting him do it? Read on.
Because thou hast been a man of war and hast shed blood.
But that's what he had to do. He had to shed blood to build the temple. You cannot go around and shed blood. You can't get this temple unless there's peace around you. So the very thing, the very reason the Most High said I can't elevate you and put you to build a temple is what was necessary to get the temple set up. Now can't that frustrate you? Wouldn't that frustrate a carnal person? The very thing that the nation needed, the Most High said, because you committed yourself to bring about peace to the region, is why I can't let you put the temple together. That's a letdown. A person could get bitter off of that. A person can be upset that your entire life's work was squashed, and it wasn't the will of the Most High.
And people say that. People say, I wasted my life, I wasted my time, I wasted the best of my years. People say, they say all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not in line with the will of the Lord. They just say it out of their carnal perspective.
And this is a perfect example to say that we have a lot of expectations of how things should be. We have a thought of how things should work out in our lives. But just because you feel strongly about something and you dream about it and you have a passion for it, doesn't mean that's what the Most High expects from you, or wants from you, or has planned for you. And that's a very humbling sentiment. We might want a lot of things, we might have a lot of expectations, and even good intentions. But just because you have a good intention and you have a can-do attitude doesn't mean the Most High is going to give you what you want, because we all play a role. And that's a very frustrating concept to realize. We all play a role for the Most High.
With the potter's clay.
And that thought is even more discouraging. We are just clay that the Most High uses to play a role and a position. And you can sit back here and tell yourself you're more than just this Gumby figure. But you're not. You're supposed to play this role and be Gumby over here to the right. And stay there. And you're supposed to play a role, serve the Most High, give the most you can, and be okay with the fact that the Most High is pleased with your effort. Because the Most High, in another verse, said, David's a man after his own heart. So wouldn't you think a man after the Most High's heart will get the glory that his work displayed? This guy was the Most High's favorite because he thought like the Most High. He said, just because you think like me and you did what I asked you to do doesn't mean I'm giving you what you want.
Israel can't get that part either.
That is the
Israel,
significant issue.
Listen, we don't get what we want in the carnal and get mad at the Lord. Imagine not getting what you want in the spirit. You say, are you still mad at the Lord?
Yes.
You should be content. We all should be content with the will of the Lord either way. That we got to play a part in the will of the Lord. That's the mindset we should have.
But that's a very difficult pill to swallow. And this is a reason why Israel goes left. They get discontented. They get discontented because they don't get what they want in the carnal.
Yeah.
Very few of us get to the point where we have given up the world and give ourselves to spiritual goals. Then the Most High don't give it to us. A lot of us can't even get to that level. But once again, what's the title of the class? Understand the cost of building spiritual. This is the cost. The cost is David was supposed to give his life to fighting and killing and serving everything up on a platter for Solomon to do the right thing with it.
And if you think about it,
And first, but I'm gonna say this: can we not process how humbling and scary that is? You can do everything the right way, and your life's work is in the hands of a 23-year-old. Or how about this? We can sit back here and give our life to serving the Most High, and then when we get to the point where we can't do it anymore, we have to give our life's work up to somebody else and hope and pray that they what? Don't screw it up.
crash.
Don't mismanage it. Don't live riotously and lose what we've given our life to. Same thing with us. What good is working our tails off to get to this point to lose it in 5 years? Then we'll start talking like Solomon. Vanity of vanity. All this shit's vanity. What do we do all this for? Now I know why Solomon was talking like he was talking in the Song of Solomon.
But the madness is this, as far as David's situation, or harping on David, is you think he thought in his mind, I didn't run for 10 years and live in caves to not finish? Listen, it's one thing that you tried and you gave it a good college try.
And it didn't work out.
I shot the half court shot. It didn't go in the basket, but I was still a winner.
Yeah.
Then to suffer for 10 years.
And had everything here. Listen, we're going to read about everything he had. He had all of the tools needed.
Yeah.
All the construction
But you can't
materials
press the
ready to
button.
go. but you can't press the button.
That's all he had to do was press the button.
Just get the thumbs up, like
Yeah.
Caesar.
Yeah.
So he had to do is do this.
Yeah.
And it was done. But the Most High was like, I'm not going to let you live long enough for that. And I just didn't choose you to get the glory. Because that's the check.
Yep.
I didn't choose you to gain the glory.
It's not for you.
My work and the commitment and the sacrifice in fighting wars for 30 years and prayers and your humility and your connection to me should be enough. Is that enough for us? Most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, the dedication and the sacrifice and the commitment and the things that we've learned in Christ is not enough for us. Part of what made David a man after the Most High's heart is that he didn't sulk about what he didn't get. He owned it and said it's in Solomon's hands. Just don't turn your back on the Most High. That is an aspect of what made David so great. Because most other people would have been upset, would have been bitter, would have been angry about doing all this work and not getting the recognition and the glory he or she deserves.
And that's most men, not just some. I'm not trying to be funny. But
You're right.
most men are upset when they don't get.
Most people are upset when they don't get what they want. When they do good and they're committed and they sacrifice and they love and they're charitable and they're considerate and they don't get the reward they're expecting.
The immediate bump, validation, dopamine, or reward that we're looking for. You want some dopamine, you want some validation, or you want a tangible
reward.
Or at the minimum, you want to thank you.
Yeah.
And how about none of those are guaranteed? You should be content in your sacrifice that you sacrifice to the Lord.
And that's the lesson. That's a major aspect of the cost of living spiritually, the cost of building spiritually. How about you're going to build it, you're going to dedicate, you're going to give your life force up for this, and you know what? The lesson and the happiness should be in the lessons you've learned, not in the glory you're expecting. Because the Most High is not going to give you the glory that you expect or think you deserve. Because if the Most High was going to give you the glory, then he should have gave David the glory.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, you don't think David deserved the glory?
He kind of did.
I did all this killing. I did all this killing.
Giants.
I put my life on the line wiping out Philistines.
From his youth.
Don't forget, he is the one who finished the Philistine problem off. We were running for 500 years from Philistines.
Listen, bro.
This guy ended the Philistine problem.
Read
This guy sat back here and ended the Ammonite problem. He ended all the problems. There was no problems. He had the whole city on lock. He had the whole region on lock. And the reward for that is you get a Carmelite Issacharite to go to sleep with that after your body ain't working no more. Because he didn't even consummate it. He couldn't consummate it. The scripture, he couldn't consummate. He was too old to do so. That's why his son Adonijah wanted her. And Solomon said, I gotta kill this 5-letter word guy. Because if you take her, then it comes off like I'm taking the king's gal. That means I'm the king. That's what he's saying, huh?
It's a political move.
It's all politics. What am I trying to say? Most High gives you a battle you can't deal with. He gives you the kingdom you can't sit back here and claim. One could have negative thoughts behind that. One may be frustrated about the condition that he is in, the conundrum he is in. You were supposed to kill all these people. That was God's will for you, but because you did it, you can't sit back here and do it. Now, he's the butcher. He's the butcher of Jerusalem.
He's the butcher of Israel.
He's the butcher. He's the Jerusalem.
I just kill. That's all I do is kill.
Listen, he was killing a lot of people. He was killing a lot of Moab. Remember, he would kill like one of every 3 Moabites.
Yeah.
No, 2 of every 3 Moabites.
Yeah.
He was killing 2 of every 3 Moabites to cut down their male population.
A third of the nation.
Well, I think it was 2/3, wasn't it?
Only a third.
He only left a third. Listen,
I'm not gonna say it on long.
don't do it.
Because people look at me crazy, but
He did the chariot. So it might take you a couple decades to get right
to
again.
get back to it.
They
They asked for it though.
Well, listen, how about they all did? But that's not the point. He did what the Most High told him. And the Most High said, I know I told you to do this, but because you did it,
Can't do that temple,
no
boy.
temple for you. How does that
Your
feel?
hands is too bloody, man.
Right, but you told me to be bloody.
I was in order.
I wanted to play the flute.
You should deal with the
I
hands
wanted to
on
cry.
that.
He wanted to play the flute out. And Moses said, you can't play the flute. You got to play the flute. You got to kill Philistines all them day long, huh?
You can't play no harps out here.
You can't play no harps, huh? You got to kill.
You can't be Prince out with more rugged.
You can't be a rugged prince, huh? That's my point. Well, why am I painting this picture? David had to play a role in a part and accept the role and part that he played.
But we don't do it now.
That's the point I'm bringing up. But this is the cost of building something spiritually. So, where are we at in that verse 3? Read verse 3 again. Was it verse 3 or was it verse 3 I wanted? Yeah, do that again. Verse 3.
Come. 1 Chronicles 28, verse 3. But the Most High said unto me, Thou shalt not build an house for my name, because thou hast been a man of war and hast shed blood.
Well, yes, you told me to do that.
That's the pickle you're in.
Yeah.
I told you to go to war, but because you went to war, you aren't eligible to go to the next step. Why didn't the Most High just say, I just don't want you to do it? I just didn't choose you to do it. I want your son to do it. Isn't that what people say? You give me a BS excuse, man. Why you won't give me this promotion?
Just tell me the real reason.
Just tell me you just don't want me to do it. You just don't like me enough to do that.
Just say you don't like me.
Isn't that what people say? Thank you.
Just say you don't care.
That's the one.
That's the real one.
That's the one. Just say you don't care.
That's what Israel plays with every single day.
I know.
But the Most High, we have to really learn the skill of being grateful because we're grateful.
And once
being
again,
happy is because the Lord shows you for a period of time and for a certain amount of responsibility.
and this is how we know why David was a man after the Most High's heart. Heart just means mind. He thought like the Most High did. And this is why David understood it and accepted what, even though he was committed at the highest level he could be, he had to accept what the Most High gave him back. The Most High did bless him. The Most High did bless his hands. He didn't say get what he wanted.
The Most High wanted a peacetime conciliation.
Well, you wanted somebody else to come in and do that and take that responsibility on. Now, let that go. I think we're done with that verse. Let's go real quick to Romans 12 and 1. We're going to read Romans chapter 12, verse 1 and 2. It's a very important thing to understand. Just because we have purposes and we have goals, don't mean they're in line with the Most High's will and goals, even in the spiritual realm.
That's tough.
And can you sit back here and live and do right and be okay with what the Most High gives you back in return? That's a challenging concept to digest. But this is a concept that we all have to learn to digest if we are going to strive to cleave close to the Most High. So give me Romans 12, verse 1 and 2.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Yep.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
And this is the scenario. This is what a living sacrifice means. That means every day, it's about pleasing the Most High.
Regardless.
And then I have to accept what good responses come back to me. I have to accept whatever he chooses to give me. Because you don't think, like Dawiyad mentioned and I mentioned, that David got up every damn fall to winter and did all this preparation, geared his mind for war, went out to war in the beginning of the spring, did all this fighting with the vision that I got to do this to eventually get the temple set up. Why do you think he got up every day? Because I never understood why the hell David just kept fighting war after war. And I read stories back in the year. He fought so much that the blood of others stuck into his hand. And it cleaved to his hand. He couldn't pull the sword off of his hand because the blood congealed in his hands. He did that much killing. That's what the story said. And you don't think there was a deeper motivation and a deeper reason why he went up every year to go to war against these nations? You don't think he had the end goal is I'm doing this to create peace in the region, to stack my resources up, to build this temple, because that's what I want. You think he did this to give it to Solomon? Hell no, he didn't. He didn't even know Solomon. He did it because that was what he wanted to do for the Lord. Just like what we do. We do things in the right spirit, in the conscience of pleasing the Most High, with the end goal of what? Getting something out the deal. All right or wrong? We fight and we sacrifice for a blessing that of our choice. We have an idea of what we deserve, what we determine is an adequate blessing for the level of sacrifice I produce.
I want to see this. Because
Am I right or wrong? Is that an unrealistic statement? We sit back here and we fight to do good to get a good blessing. And then when we don't get the blessing at the same frequency as what we expect, now our content is false.
Yeah, the Solomon effect. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I gotta say this. You gotta think like this. You don't think he felt deep layers of depression that I'm wasting my life? When you're living in caves and looking at centipedes, and you're sleeping around insects, and you're sleeping around, you're always in this crappy environment. You're living in swamps. Everybody knows you're in the swamp. They just don't know where, but you're in the swamp, and wherever swamp's got, that's where you're at. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with whatever's in the swamp. You're with that. So he's in the swamp, wasting a decade.
And that's before the 30 years.
That's before 30 years. The complex you get in the mind is...
That's like 40 plus years of discomfort. His whole life is uncomfortable. I'm sorry.
It's 40 plus, but you're looking at, I hope this is for something.
Yeah.
This is before he got the crown.
Yeah.
I fought this hard just to get a seat that somebody got for free.
Mm-hmm.
Saul got it for free. He looked for some camels. He said, "Hey, you're the king." Sat in the seat.
He hid from being he hid from being.
He was afraid. Got the seat of authority. He didn't have to lose anything for it. I did 10 years on the run, to 15 years on the run. I don't see a tangible reward for what I want.
Or he initially did, because after the 10, 15 years, he was king of the southern kingdom.
Yeah, but
I just want to make sure he did get, like the Most High does us. He gives us small blessings to confirm that the sacrifice is worth it. Because we have to be conscious of the fact that the Most High gives us little reminders of, hey, you did the right thing. You made the right
small
sacrifice. You was on point. Listen, for all his running and ripping and running and not taking matters in his own hands with Saul, he was awarded the southern kingdom.
Yeah.
And then 7 years of being in that civil war state, Mosai granted him
more,
the entire empire.
I just
want to make sure we clear that
What I
up.
was trying to say is, when you go from the bottom just to get here with somebody, but the guy before you got it for free.
Yep.
And on top of that, you're working hard, you're grinding. In the back of your mind, listen, man, I sure would like to have an achievement where I can sleep, while I die, I can feel content with my entire life.
And I can be more different.
I want a championship. Everything I've done, I just want it to be a waste. All I did was kill for 30 years. We complain about selling oils for 10 years.
I know.
We complain about lifting boxes for 2.5 to 3.
Yes.
We complain about hearing the same breakdown maybe 2 years, 3 years straight. When you hear the same breakdowns, I'm hearing the same. Oh, this is the same breakdown. I know prices, but I already know.
Yeah.
But you're doing the same thing every single day for 30 years. You want more than just the routine.
Or your daily bread. Because the thing is this. The thought is, if I do this, it will separate me from all the other kings that ever did it.
Yes.
Because why else would you want the temple? This will separate me from everybody else. This is greatness, because you know why? I deserve greatness. I put it on the line, and I operate it greatly. So because I dedicate it greatly, shouldn't I receive the greatest blessing?
Outcome-wise.
Because, and that ties back into the parable, which I'm not going to go into, about everybody gets the same penny. Listen, you can start working at 6 in the morning. You're getting the same penny in reward as the person that works for an hour. And that don't feel good either.
No.
The idea that you can sit back and put 30 years in, and then the person can come in and just learn you how about Shem Yah Shabakatah, and he's in. That ain't the greatest feeling in the world. But that's the reality of it. So David sat back here and operated on a great level, and he died like Rehoboam died, being in power, which was his grandson. What am I trying to say? Whatever the Most High, whatever blessings the Most High has waiting for you, we still have to learn to be at peace with whatever He gives us, even though it might fall short of our expectations. And the reason we have to accept this consequence is because of this verse in Romans 12:1. Read that.
Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living
He
sacrifice.
says, listen, what David did in committing his life as well as he did was what? Read on.
A living sacrifice.
He was a living sacrifice. We know that. But with him being a living sacrifice, what did that also mean? Read on.
Holy, acceptable unto the Most High,
Which is what?
which is your reasonable service.
And this is what we don't want to accept. That being that living sacrifice, meaning committing your whole life to things that you might not be comfortable doing, or committing your life to something that might be inconvenient, or committing your life to something with a greater expectation behind it.
Not your wheelhouse also.
Not your wheelhouse, or what you thought your vision yourself to be, is your reasonable service. And as we're going to read on, even though you pursue with gold level effort, silver level effort, or precious stones level effort, when do you see the fruit of your gold, silver, and precious stones effort? Yes, at the end. That's when you see the fruit of it. Did David see the fruit of his effort when he passed? No. But you know what? At the end, what was talked about in Ezekiel? We're going to go into it. So, keep going. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. And be not conformed to this world.
So you know what the truth is? He says, don't be conformed to this world. Because in the world, when you commit to something, you expect the recourse to come back to you. You have this expectation that has to be satiated, even if you're doing the right thing. He says, don't be conformed to this world. Read on.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
He says, when we're going through our life in the Most High, when the Most High tells us to find joy in our afflictions, right? Paul talks about that in Timothy. He says you have to prove that that's acceptable and true. That means you have to look to prove that how is finding joy in affliction the right thing to do. Let me go into looking at that way. Let me find the joy in dedicating to the Most High and finding joy even though I might not have gotten everything I expected. Recompense on the deal. Because this is the only way a person can truly find happiness and pleasing the Heavenly Father, is to do things the right way and be appreciative however it comes back to you. Whatever the good comes back to you, that was what the Most High wanted you to do. That's the mindset you have to have if you want the Most High to keep blessing you. But let that verse go and go to Leviticus 25 and 55.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse
55.
55.
And Romans 12 and 1 and 2 coincides with this verse in Leviticus 25.
Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt.
This is what David had to remind himself. It didn't matter what his goals were, his expectations of his life work was supposed to go towards building a temple that he was supposed to be the head of construction on. That didn't matter. The only thing that matters is that David was the Most High servant, and he had to accept the parameters of that, and that the Most High chooses and develops who He chooses to develop, and He rises up whoever He wants to rise up, and He keeps whoever He wants to keep at the positions that they are. And there has to be an acceptance about the part and the role you play in that. Now, let that go and go to Luke chapter 17 and 10.
Luke chapter 17 and 10.
Let me get it real quick, because we just read in Leviticus 25 and 55 that we are servants. Now, what does Christ sit back here? He gets even more specific about the type of servant we were called to be. Read that, Luke 17 and 10.
Luke 17 and 10. So likewise, ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you.
Stop. So when David did everything he was asked to do, when David sat back here and fought Philistines and just lived 30 years of fighting wars, 10 additional years on the run, not getting what he wants, not really getting an opportunity to breathe and just enjoy his kingdom. The one time he sat back here and enjoyed his kingdom, the whole kingdom almost fell apart. Remember what I said when David tarried? The one time he didn't go to war, the whole kingdom almost collapsed because he sinned. But what am I saying? He says, after you do everything you're supposed to do, the way the Most High wants, at the expectation He wants, what should be said next? Read it from the top again.
God. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants.
So listen, after you do everything you're supposed to do, what are you supposed to say in return?
We are unprofitable servants.
What is the statement that I am an unprofitable servant? We read in Leviticus 25:55 that we're servants. But the mindset of a proper servant is this: I am an unprofitable servant when it comes to pleasing the Heavenly Father. What does that mean? If I'm an unprofitable servant, that means I have to expect not to get out what I want out the deal. That's what being an unprofitable servant. Because I'm not being unprofitable to my master. I'm profitable to him, but I'm unprofitable. Because there is an acceptance that in my dedication, I'm not going to get what I want out of my dedication. And there has to be an acceptance of that. If King David had to accept that all of his works, he still wasn't going to get exactly what he wanted, then why are we any different? Does that make sense? Does that mean you shouldn't want anything? No. What it's saying is you can want things, you can have goals and aspirations for things, but if you don't get what you want after you do good works, how are you supposed to act? You're supposed to be reminded that, you know what, this isn't what the Most High wanted for me right now. And I have to accept that. Even though I might want this, or I might anticipate this, it's maybe not the will of the Most High to give me what I'm expecting out of this.
And say my expectation.
Because everything about serving the Most High is learning how to navigate through expectations and letdowns. That's what this is all about. Because what we don't understand is what I might want might not be what the Most High has planned for me. What I might want out the deal might not be what the Most High is planning to do with me. But because we don't know what He doesn't want from me, you still have to shoot for the stars. And then understand that in me shooting for the stars, I have to accept what the Most High is going to give me in return. That's how you stay in the right mindset to where you don't start having an ill outlook towards the Most High, your husband, the brotherhood, the work you do every day for the Lord.
Operate in the spirit of dejection.
And
We walk around dejected all day.
Because there's a verse that talks about, and if y'all got, let me know, about a broken spirit.
Yeah.
Who's going to sit back here and mend a broken spirit? You can be physically hurt. You can have body discomfort, and that can heal. But a broken spirit or a spirit that wounded spirit that's let down. I think it's Proverbs 17.
Yeah, who can bear?
Thank you. Read that verse because
18 and 14.
because what we're trying to teach is how to mitigate having a wounded spirit.
Yeah, 18, 14.
Proverbs 18 and 14.
Go.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 14 reads.
Because everybody might say, "Oh, Warren's just sitting back here saying, be happy having nothing." He's always sitting back here saying, "Be happy having nothing. You ain't gonna have nothing. You ain't never been nothing. You ain't good for nothing. You ain't gonna have nothing." Like I got Uncle Ruckus spirit in me,
Yeah.
or that cat that was in Django. You ain't nothing. You ain't never gonna be nothing.
No,
But that's not the spirit.
that's not the premise.
That's not the spirit or the premise that I'm coming from. This is about mitigating expectations. Listen, when you're in marriage, what kills most marriages? Expectations.
False.
Not false. That's not the word. It's expectations that you have that they aren't met. Then everything falls apart. But just like expectations between a wife and a husband fall short, it's the same way that men have with the Most High. We have expectations of how things are supposed to be. I'm supposed to be at this rank for so many months and years, and then after this, I got to go to the moon. I got to go here. I got all these plans and these goals, and then it don't work out that way. Then we sit back and say, "Why am I busting my, my rear end? Why am I going so hard for?" Then what men start doing is slowing down. Am I right or wrong? You start slowing down and going through the motions, and that's when you get stung. That's when the Most High curses you. Because you want to sit back here and put your foot off the gas and on the brake. And coast. Because I'm going to coast until I get what I'm looking for. And then when you start coasting until you get what you're looking for, then you never get what you're looking for. So the class is about mitigating expectations. Learning how to operate at a maximum effort and be okay if I'm operating with max effort and not getting what I might have expected I was going to get. This is such an important concept for us to hold on to.
Because the Most High deletes your ego. Nobody wants to say this, accept it. But with all the decisions the Most High makes, he's always trying to make sure he deletes.
That's the one I want to correct.
He wants to delete your ego out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
It's always getting deleted.
Yep. And how is he deleting ego? What is Christ saying? You are an unprofitable servant. I want gold works, but don't look for nothing. Or I want you to give gold works, but you got to be happy with what I give you. This is what the Most High is trying to teach us. The mindset he's trying to teach us. Read that.
Come. Proverbs chapter 18 verse 14 reads. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear.
The question is, how can you handle and deal with the wounded spirit that's inside of you? The question is, how does a man or woman get a wounded spirit? Now we go to Proverbs 13 and 12. This is Kariah's perfect verse. It fits in perfect.
Proverbs 13, verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Listen, hope deferred makes you sick mentally. Lets you down. What is hope deferred? A false expectation that you have for what's going to happen in your life. When your hope, your expectation is pushed back. You have an idea of something's going to happen good in your life at a certain time, and then it doesn't hit that mile marker. What you expect and want in your life, you don't get to it at the time you expect it. It said it makes the what?
It makes the heart sick.
It makes the outlook sick. The mind sick. But that mind starts to get sick towards who? The Most High. Or your husband, which is still the Most High. Because your outlook is all based on how you look at anything in your life is connected to the Father. Hope deferred makes the heart sick.
You serve the Father, now you serve your husband.
But how can you get sick? How can you have a sick heart if you're an unprofitable servant? You neutralize that demon. You neutralize that deferred spirit if your intention is to sit back and please the Most High and you know that whatever you get out the deal is gravy because I'm an unprofitable servant. I'm not doing this with an expectation. Because that's what that means. I'm doing this work without an expectation. And if I maintain that space in that slot, I can always stay on point. I can manage my spirit. And I won't have deferred expectations, which leads to my sickness, which leads to a broken heart or a wounded heart. We're all fighting here to navigate and protect ourselves from being let down, from having expectations, and then these expectations not working out in our favor. Then our perspective goes south with the person that we're depending on, the creator that made us. This is how you protect yourself from that fall. And this is how we stay spiritual. This is how we learn how to always be joyous and always be appreciative for the Most High, and we stay spiritually potent. Does that make sense?
No.
This is how David maintained his strength. He understood that he was still an unprofitable servant, even though on his back he sat back here and rebuilt the nation. And this is why you know that's true, because when you read in 1 Chronicles 22 in verse 17 and 18, what did he say? He said, the Most High sat back here and brought you peace, Solomon. Did the Most High bring him peace? Yes. But who also brought him peace? David going to war like a crazy man, huh? But what did David have to realize? I'm an unprofitable servant. Who gave me those wins? Who backed me in these wars? So the Most High backed me in these wars, it really was never what? So if it was never me, I can't take credit for it.
Yeah.
So now I can't have this expectation that the Most High owes me for eyesight.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what we be thinking. Most High owes me. I
gotta have
don't
some.
remember the song.
No, that's a hell of a reference.
Well, it's the truth. Listen, Most High owes me for all these good works.
I did all this good. Well, am I get mine?
That's the point. That's the mindset we have to protect ourselves from. Is that expectation that all is good, where's mine in return?
Yeah. Where's mine? Where's the payoff?
Because the funny thing is the Most High gives you a payoff. Well, you don't like the payoff amount. You don't like how much he gives you in return. Huh? But the thing is, it's very difficult to see the payout when you're coming there with this particular number in your head that you're supposed to see. You're expecting a particular deposit in your bank account.
The spiritual payoff. You like it?
Listen, you're expecting a certain deposit act, and you wake up in the morning act. Because believe me, I know on Fridays act we're hurting, and the deposit comes from deliveries act. I'm like, man, I'm hoping around 65-7 comes in, man. It would be good. We would have paid some bills. I look, I see 44. This is full, man. 44. You can't do a goddamn thing with 44. This ain't nothing. We can't pay our bills at 400. Am I right or wrong? This is the thought.
Real bills, yeah.
It's Friday morning. I'm looking at the paperwork on the internet around 6:30. The deposit should clear by 6:30. Like, this is ridiculous. 44. This is whack.
No.
I gotta call Gil. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Is he stealing money? He's stealing money from us. I gotta see these numbers. These numbers they hitting right.
Yeah. You gotta survive.
But you think that because I had an expectation it was gonna be 7. Now I'm angry it ain't 7. Now I want to make phone calls and complain. I said, man, we're gonna take one of them trucks off the rotation. Man, it's ridiculous. That's what I want to say when you realize, okay, listen, I can take it off. That number is going to be less than 44 next week. I can talk all the crap I want to talk. What's the point? We all have that expectation of the work we put in. The Most High is supposed to sit back here and give you something for your good work.
Exactly. Yeah.
And David had to accept, yes, I wanted this deposit. Mm-hmm. I wanted the power to sit back here and build this temple and do a great work and get the glory for it.
I feel like I didn't waste my life.
And said, this was my life's work.
Yeah.
I sacrificed all this in my life for this temple. I can live with that. Now I can die in peace.
Yep.
But instead, you did all that work, and this guy that just woke up, he gets the kingdom? He gets the glory for my dedication? But the Most High does this to us all the time, to take pride from man. He does it to take pride from man. Mm-hmm. But how do you learn to not let these blows destroy you? The only way that you can sit back here and not let these blows destroy you is to remind yourself that you are an unprofitable servant. That the Most High is expecting us to produce gold work with an unprofitable mindset behind it. The reminder that you are unprofitable. Can you navigate that? And if you can practice navigating that, then you actually can do great things in this work. Too many times, and it's not always a wife and husband thing, it's a man, the Most High thing. It's with the Most High's woman. We fall to this all the time too. We slow down when our expectations aren't met. The blessings we think we deserve, we don't get off jump.
It's not meant on the time scale. We have this time scale mindset.
We have a time schedule of when we're supposed to get blessed. I need the Most High now. Or we tell ourselves we need him now. And if he doesn't give us what we need when we say we need him, then the Most High is not right. Or our husband doesn't love us. Or the brothers don't care.
It's the
same thing that we all fall short on. And all we're teaching today is explaining what building really looks like. It's a selfless life. It's a selfless life where the glory should be in the lessons you gain way more than the expectation of what you think your works deserve or the expectation of what you think your work should bring you in this present life. That's a dynamic that we should study a lot more than we do. Because if we can do that, we can really start to gain mastery of our outlook. Because our outlook gets smashed and destroyed because of what in Proverbs 13 and 12, sir?
Proverbs 13 and 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Listen, when you have expectations, and those expectations don't come in a timely fashion, it literally brings sickness, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, fits of rage. All this happens when you thought something was supposed to happen at a certain time and it didn't happen. Can we all in our own way attest to that? You don't got to raise hands. Just think about the time you were let down or you had an expectation of how things were going to be and it didn't happen. How did you react? Most of us act poorly. And then we want to blame people because they're the ones that let us down. How about the Most High just didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted, and you have to learn to wait longer? Because when it says hope is deferred, look up deferred.
Deferred. Deferred. It says to delay.
So listen, he says hope's delayed makes the heart sick. He didn't say not getting what you want ever makes the heart sick. He said this: what you expected didn't come at the time you wanted, and then you lose it. Isn't that what happens to us all the time? We create the want, and we also manufacture the time that we expect it to happen. And then when we sit back here, manufacture the expectation and the timetable, and when the timetable doesn't fit, all of a sudden the God Most High is not real. All of a sudden, my husband doesn't love me. All of a sudden, my husband's not taking care of his business on time. It's always somebody's a problem. Instead of realizing the Most High is just deferring what you want. He's delaying the thing that you want. Why are you sitting back here antagonistic towards the Most High just because he's delaying the good that's coming? He didn't say he's withholding the good that's coming. He just said he's delaying it. He said when he delays what you want, you get sick. When he delays the blessing, because he delays all of our blessings. And when he delays your blessing, all of a sudden you're throwing a flipping fit. I'm going to war because I expected this to happen at a certain time, and you just don't love me, Yahweh. Or you just don't love me, hubby. The brothers don't care no more. Am I over dramatizing this point? I don't think so. Because we do it towards the Father. We sit back here and say, this car should have been fixed by now. My car should be operational by now. Why isn't my car operating right now? This is BS. What am I doing this for? Maybe I need to make a move to get my whip running. Because this is ridiculous. I can say the same thing about my hips and my back. Damn, how many damn months is this pain going to be? What do I need to do to get this pain to alleviate from me? I've done everything I used to do. Same old two-step. Herb this. Stretch this. Chiropractor this. What else got to be done? Either I got to sit back here and accept that I'm an unprofitable servant. What does that mean? If I am unprofitable, I don't have the right to dictate or have a timetable on when the blessing is supposed to come. If I'm unprofitable. But the problem is, we're all for-profit mercenaries in here. That's the problem. Listen, everybody fill out your 10 and 9, dog. You're a full profit. That's an independent contractor. There's a bunch of independent contractors for God in here. I'm here for the knowledge, but let me follow my 10 and 9. Because I'm an independent contractor, dog. listen, I'm supposed to get some money back this year on my tax return in the spirit.
Yeah.
This is what we do. This is what we are. And the Most High, you know what he does? He delays the blessing to show you
where you're at.
That you're an independent contractor.
Hopefully you're ready.
I'm drawing this out. Just to show you you're in it for the money. You're in it for the blessing. And we all have to learn to become unprofitable servants. Because if we don't, he's going to keep stretching out the blessings. And he's going to keep deferring your hope. And listen, once again, when you read Ezekiel, Moses says, I don't find pleasure in you pining away. He doesn't sit back here and find pleasure in you being sick. From being angry that you have to wait for so long. He doesn't find pleasure in it. But we have to learn that while I'm waiting because the Most High is deferring the blessing. I'm waiting because the Most High is deferring what I'm expecting. The Most High is deferring it. Not the person. Not the circumstance. Not the job pay. The Most High is slowing up what you're expecting. And can you understand that? Just because you're sick, just because you're vomiting, just because you're cussing, just because you're out of order, just because you're disrespectful, is not going to make the deferment get shorter. In actuality, the more you flip and trip, the deferment is going to get extended. Because when you're showing the Most High, I don't know how to act when I don't get my way. So let me not give this person their way for longer until they learn how to appreciate and become unprofitable servants. We're going here because this is something that Israel deals with all the time. And if we're humble, we can acknowledge that.
This is why, in particular, this is why brother motivations be declining.
That's what I was saying. What men do, they just slow up. They slow up their effort. I'm going to write these BS explanations, paragraph explanations about what I read today, what I learned today. Most High. Very important. I need to sit back here and consider my ways more. I'm going to try harder. You know it when it looks like standard time. When Orion looks like standard time. Then you know this guy is capping. He's giving half tail. Late to class, late to inspection. That's a person who's angry and sick because hope is deferred. Men do it too. Like Jay said, men lie, women lie. Everybody lies. Everybody's angry. Everybody wants that return, that 1099 return to kick in before they do more work. And that's not how you're supposed to think. Because the greats, the men we're supposed to follow, didn't do that. David sat back and lived an entire lifetime doing the right thing, minus a few mistakes. Listen, the funny thing is, Moses didn't say, I'm not going to give you the ability to control running the temple because you sin with Bathsheba. He didn't say, I'm not going to give you the chance to build the temple because you did the census. He said, because you fought too much. but he was supposed to fight. Which means David was never had a chance to build the temple. It was never in the cards. He could have worked super hard. It wasn't going to change the fact he could have not dealt with Bathsheba, not did the census, and he still wouldn't have got it.
Hands too bloody, bro.
Because
Too bloody.
what he said is, you did my job too good.
Yeah.
You did the job that I chose you to do too good.
Put it to me hours, man.
You did it too good, and because you did it too good, I'm not giving you
This steak is too good.
I'm not giving you another blessing. I'm not going to give it to you because you did your job too well. You're overqualified for the position of building the temple. Thank you, sir. But that's what he's saying. But why is that important for us to digest? You can bust your tail with whatever expectation you have. If the Most High doesn't see you fit to get that promotion, you're not going to get it. And that is a humbling notion. But it's a notion that you have to accept. A notion that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego understood. They said, man, I know the Most High can sit back here and deliver us from this furnace. But he don't have to. And he might not do it. And if he might not do it, I got to accept the fact that I can live the right way, stand up for what's right, and still not get through this. That is the perfect explanation of being an unprofitable servant. I can do everything that's right and still die because of it. And still be a martyr because I did everything the right way. But this is what understanding what being spiritually is. Spiritualism, this is what it takes to build. Can you sit back here and dedicate your life to doing the right thing and let the cards fall where they what? Whatever he wants to give you, great. Whatever he doesn't want to give me, great. And can you sit back here and live your life under that premise? That is what it takes to be connected to the Most High and to truly cleave to him. Because we're going through issues that everybody faces. This is not some unnatural occurrence. But that's what Luke 17:10 means, about being an unprofitable servant. Read that verse again in Luke 17:10.
Luke 17:10. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do.
Listen, read verse 8. This is verse 8 through 10 because it ties in even more.
Verse 8. I will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me.
You got to read verse 7, Salakia.
But which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he has come from the field, go and sit down to meat?
So what he's saying is, if you had a servant working for you, and he worked, because people that are working in the agricultural industry, you get up when the animals get up. What time is that? When it's still dark outside, 4:35. So you got to get up at 4:35 o'clock in the morning. Sit back here, take out the trough. Sit back here and give them water, fresh water. Get that hay, bale some hay. Be country, sit back here. You got to milk the cows. You got to take care of them animals all damn day long. Clean the poop. Sit back here. You do all the country stuff you can. It's country as hell. Country work. And then he says, when that day is over, when the sundown comes in, you tell that servant, okay, you did your job that you were supposed to do. Now it's time for your reward. Now it's time for you to get your meal and enjoy your meal. He said, is that what you're supposed to do with your servant? Read on.
I will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself.
So he said, get off your butt. You smell like animal, ranch hand. You smell like damn cattle. Take a shower, get dressed, and serve me. Your work ain't over. If he's explaining this in a parable about how a master deals with a servant, what do you think he's saying about us? We're supposed to do our job, and when we think it's quitting time and reward time, Mosiah is saying you got a second shift ahead of you, dog. Shower up, Put your servant clothes on. Get your overalls. Take your overalls off and wash them filthy things.
Teach the Bible.
And you're gonna sit back here and go and teach. Or now you got another job to do before you can start saying, "What about me?" Right? Mm-hmm. He's teaching this, and he's trying to get us to understand how he thinks. You're already tired. You've been up since 4 a.m. It's nighttime. Your flesh wants to say it's time for my reward. But in reality, it's like, listen, your job is just starting. It's not your reward. Why is he saying this? Because this is how we think. We work for a period of time and then expect what? And then just know that when you expect your reward, he's really saying you got more work to do. So whatever timetable that you think you've done enough to get something, just know what the Bible says. The Bible says you haven't done enough to get what you want. Just because you think you've done enough doesn't mean in the Most High's eyes you've done enough to get the reward you're expecting. This ain't a war's word. This ain't the book of a war act. It really ain't. Because this cuts everybody in the building. From the top down. He said what you're supposed to say is after you work from 4 a.m. slave time out. You work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now shower up and cook my dinner. So listen, read verse 8 again.
God, I will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may serve.
That means you got to cook a whole meal. Who's cooking the meal? The servant got to cook the meal after he worked all day. Because you got to sit back here. We're going to smacking your lips with some corn chips out and some chili beans. Get off your butt and prepare my meal because you're not done working yet. That is a concept I don't think we have adjusted to enough. The idea that you can do everything the right way, but when you tell yourself it's time for a reward, doesn't mean that's how the Most High is thinking. You can say, I busted my tail, I've done all these things, it's my time. But the Most High is like, it's time for you to take a shower and cook this meal. This is how we have to look at how the Most High deals with us. If we can understand that, we can achieve so much more and learn how to wait for what we want. Because he's teaching us how to wait. Read verse 8 again.
God, I will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me, till I have eaten and drunk.
Listen, that means I want you to cook and serve me until I'm eating. I got a second portion. I'm farting. I'm drinking alcohol. I start nodding off. The wine bottle starts to tip a little bit. Because I'm full. What he said? He said, you got to feed me till I'm fully fed and I've drank enough drink. And then by the time that happens, guess what? You got to reheat that food. You got to reheat. The food's cold, man. You got to reheat it now. Reheat the food in the oven and then get yours. If we can understand that parable, we can understand how the Most High thinks towards us. That's a very sobering, humble way to look at it. But that's how the Most High looks at us. Serve me in the day and then serve me until I'm good and fed and overfed. And I'm about to knock out, then you get yours. Read the last part of that verse. So he says, till I have eaten and drunken. Read on.
And afterward, thou shalt eat and
Man,
drink.
you can go ahead and heat it up, man. You good, dog. I left enough for you. You be fed. I'm going to take care of you. But when? Isn't that the issue that we all be asking? When am I going to get the blessing I'm looking for? Why is it taking so long? If you're setting your lips on smacking, we want to smack your lips on some food at 6 p.m., you were sadly mistaken. You ain't going to eat until 10. 9:30 maybe, huh? Listen, hey, think about this. When you expect to eat at 6 and you got to wait 3.5 hours long out, your attitude is all jacked up. Out. When your hope is deferred, you're slamming pots. You're slamming pots. You're slamming cabinets out. You're stomping.
Making crazy faces.
Here's your dinner, Father. Can you give me some more of that? Can you give me some more of that hot sauce?
Yeah.
Here's that hot sauce. Hey man, can I get some? I get a refill on this wine. And you constantly going back and forth. Can I get another portion of that cornbread? I sure am hungry. Hey, you know on this cornbread, the butter ain't really melted yet. Can you put it in the oven and warm the butter? I sure want that butter to be melted. It's sure is tasty with my cornbread when it's melted honey, when it's melted on there, when it's melted butter on there. Can I get some honey on it too? It's delicious. It's so delicious how you make it.
You did a good job.
I want some more of that. What's that?
Making something enough to make you crash out.
What is the point? It's the multiple trips. This is what messes us up. I did my job. Where's the blessing?
I'm not considering.
Hey, you got to keep doing it until the Most High opens it up. I'm trying to show y'all how to look at what servitude looks like, and that servitude isn't what it's all cracked up to be. Because if you can't learn to serve for the right reasons, you will go mad. The deferment will make you mad. And he's explaining to you, if you can't master how to process, how to wait, and how the Most High thinks, you're going to sit back here and want to stop giving. And stop giving a blank. And that's when the Most High got you. Because you know too much to quit. You're just spoiled. Like most of us are. We're spoiled servants. We're spoiled because we expect good to come immediately on our terms. And part of service is relinquishing that desire to control when you get what you want. I'm going to say that again. Part of being a servant, the major component of being a servant, is relinquishing the expectation of when you think you should get the blessing you're looking for. Read verse 10. No. Read verse 9.
Luke 17:9. Does he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him?
So he's like, the Most High is not supposed to sit back here and be super happy that you did what you were called to do. You were supposed to work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. and get his supper ready. And if he wants you to sit back here and work overtime, then work overtime. What kills us at the job? Hope deferred kills us at the job. You ever sit like you're working and you've already told yourself we're going to be done by 3? And then the person, the customer keeps sitting back here asking you to put more things up, right? And all of a sudden things get dragged on. And then all of a sudden you get angry. Then the vexation kicks in. Then the complaints kick in. Because you're already expected to be out at a certain time. And then you're out there and you didn't control. You didn't call the cops. People want to have domestic disputes at the job, and you trying to do the job. Then you got to wait for 5-0 to sit back here and diffuse it. You just lost an hour and a half, G. Just take a seat. You ain't getting the hell out. Then by the time you get out, you're in rush hour traffic. Your day is over. Whatever plans you had, what plans is that? They're gone out the door. You ain't got no plans. Forget your life. You ain't got no life. And guess what? How about tomorrow? There's a 3 board. There's a 3 job, and you're gonna be on 3. You're gonna do 3 stories back and forth. At least 2-3 stories and a regular one. That's waiting for you tomorrow. After your day got wrecked today. And the Most High is like, what's the Most High saying? Am I supposed to sit back here and give you some extra cookies? Because you sat back and did the job you were supposed to do? The Most High trolls not. He thinks not. That's what troll means. TROW is I think not. I troll not. That's what he's saying. Just because our lives as servants get inconvenienced or pushed back or deferred, he's supposed to sit back and give you an extra blessing because your life was inconvenienced? No. This is how you have to learn to process this. If not, you're going to go mad. Being angry Because hope defers makes a person sick, makes a person spaz out, makes a person throw tantrums, throw fits. Read on.
Verse 10. So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say.
What is Christ saying? After you start learning to do everything you're supposed to do, you have to learn to work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then if it's a party, listen, what about the master that holds a party at?
Oh, yeah.
Where does the master holds a party after you work at? And he wants you to entertain multiple guests.
That's all night.
Listen, you ain't eat till 12, dog. Because you still got to clean up. It's not going to be a pig. The house cannot be made a pigsty. And the problem, and then you know what happens with the servant? Well, master, I mean, I wish you would have told me that there was a party today. And the master was like, why would I gotta tell you? I gotta prep your mind so you can prepare yourself to work less hard from 4 to 6 to get home, and you got more work to do. Why does the most I gotta report to us say, hey, my son, you're gonna work long today. I'm gonna give you a heads up that you're gonna have a long day today. So prepare your mind now as soon as you wake up. It's gonna be a difficult day, okay? Go out there, go get him, Tiger. That's what we want. Hey, this is your friend neighborhood creator talking to you today, man. What's up, man? I know it's 6 a.m. though. You better go sleep. Go sleep early because you have a long day tomorrow. It's 12 o'clock. You gotta go to sleep now. You're gonna be super tired. Well, I didn't know I was gonna get up this early and things changed. Musa is not fair. Isn't that the game we play? But what he's saying is, so likewise, when ye shall have done all the things which are commanded of you, whatever timetable he projects out for you. It could be a 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. scenario, or it could be 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. Whatever timetable the Most High has expected for you, or I have 8 months of grind, and let me sit back and do this job with no complaints. He says, whatever the Most High has tasked for you. Read verse 10 again.
So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants.
Christ has said, I'm teaching you how to think. As a person thinks, so are they. So this is how your words can become. He says you're supposed to say, after you've done what your master wants you to do, at the length of time he expects, you're supposed to say, we are unprofitable servants. Read on.
We have done that which was our duty to do.
So I have to wait to get the blessing that I'm looking for. And the way you wait is to remind yourself that you're unprofitable. It doesn't matter what I get out the deal. It doesn't matter your expectations about getting what you want matters not. Talking like yoga. Matters not what you want out the deal when you service the Most High. The Most High getteth his first. I threw it like Pillsbury Doughboy in there. I don't know why I said that. But it's the truth. It doesn't matter what you want. It's what the Most High wants at the extent and level he wants it for the time he wants it. And can you accept that process? And this is what David, after 30 years of war, and think about this, he warred for 30 years. And for the last 10 years of his life, we're going to read what he did. Go to 1 Chronicles 22, verse 1 through 16. So listen, he was killing for 30 years. Then after that 30 years of killing happened, then we're going to read about what he did after the 30 years of killing. So it's 1 Chronicles 22, verse 1 through 16. Let's try to read through it. Read that, sir, whoever's reading it.
Down in 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 1. Then David said, this is the house of the Lord power, and this is the altar of the burnt offering for Israel.
Okay.
And David commanded to gather.
So what he's saying is, what I'm about to do is prepare for the house of the Lord. So after he fought wars for 30 years, now his mind shifts once there's peace. Now I have to make preparations for the temple.
That's what I wanted to do.
Listen, he didn't listen. He has to make preparations.
Yeah.
Read on.
David commanded to gather together the strangers that were in the land of Israel.
Now I gotta hire my help. Now I gotta find the help. Who's gonna be the laborers to get this job done? Read on.
And he set masons to hew wrought stones to build the house of the Most High.
So he hires skilled masons to cut the stones needed to put the temple in order. Everybody seems to think that Solomon was the guy that hewed the stones or hired the stones to be hewed. That's not true. David hired the stone guys. And he sat back here and did a census of the strangers needed to get the work done. So he found out the laborers. He got the people to cut the actual stones. Then he hired the laborers to make sure the work got done the right way, which were non-Israelites. Read on.
Verse 3. David prepared iron in abundance.
He said then he had to sit back here and collect. He's collecting iron from all of the countries he vanquished. So he's sitting back here, wherever the excess of iron in different countrysides, he collects all the iron necessary for the masonry work, for the rebar, for the foundation, for the structure. Read on.
Prepared iron in abundance for the nails, for the doors of the gates, and for the joinings, and brass in abundance without weight.
He said he acquired so much brass he couldn't weigh it. That means he acquired brass in abundance, iron in abundance. He did all the work for hiring the servants. Then he sat back here and hired the cutters of stone to make precise stones for the temple. This is all David's work after post-war, post-killing and murdering the nations for the nation of Israel. Read on.
Verse 4. Also cedar trees in abundance for the Zidonians, and they of Tyre brought much cedar wood to David.
So did Solomon nurture the relationship with the king of Tyre, or did David do it? David sat back here and brokered the relationship with the king of Tyre to sit back here and get as much wood as possible to begin construction. And then Solomon sat back here and was able to smile at him and just do riddles with him. That's what Solomon, he wrote riddles to the king of Tyre, and they were smiling and just sending letters back of riddles. You can play footsies now, but who did the real work? They're joking and laughing, but the deal is already brokered. The wood's already getting sent. Post-Solomon. I mean, pre-Solomon. Read on.
Verse 5. And David said, Solomon my son is young and tender, and the house that it is to be builded for the Lord must be exceeding magnificent, of fame and of glory throughout all countries. I will therefore now make preparation for it. So David prepared abundantly before his death.
That's the point. So he spent the rest of his life working still. Did David have a break? He didn't have a break. It was 30 years of war and 10 years of planning and preparing. He said, my son can't handle this task. He's too young to handle this task. I will handle this. I will do everything but get what I want. And that is living a dedicated life. And this is the cost of living or building spiritually. Sometimes you give your life for something and don't get the benefit you were expecting out the deal. Sometimes you sit back here and you give it all, and it still might not be what you wanted out the deal, but you did a great work, and it was for the right purpose, for the right people, and for your nation. But just because you're doing things the right way doesn't mean you're going to get the gratification you expected out of it. So he sits back here and does the majority of the heavy lifting. Solomon just had to sit back here and manage it.
Yeah.
Now that wasn't a light task, and I'm not trivializing what Solomon did, but let's give credit to who actually deserves the credit. Read on.
Verse 6. Then he called for Solomon his son and charged him to build an house for the Lord power of Israel. Mm-hmm. And David said to Solomon, my son.
But the question is this: then he called for Solomon his son and charged him to build an house for the Lord power of Israel. He's asking Solomon to build the house that was already built, that was or had all the preparations to be built. He just had to sit back and see it through. But all the savings, all the work was done first. Read on.
And verse 7, and David said to Solomon, my son, as for me, it was in my mind to build an house unto the name of the Lord.
He said, I wanted to do what you had the opportunity to do. This is what I wanted. This is why I fought so long. Read on.
8, but the word of the Lord came to me, saying, thou hast shed blood abundantly, and hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build an house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in my sight.
He's saying you killed too much in my name, and I can't give you this. I will not give it to you. I mean, he could have just said, I'm just not going to give it to you. But he said, I'm not giving it to you because you went to war. However you want to play it, it was never in David's cards to get what he wanted. And that's what we got to remember. You can do the right thing and not get what you want, but you got to still be appreciative for the many blessings he still gives you. Because it's not like the Most High didn't bless David. He blessed David with notoriety and respect. Just not what he wanted. His lifestyle was the template of what we follow now. Do we not follow David's ways way more than Solomon's?
Oh yeah.
David is the template of how to live, not Solomon. Solomon is what not to do. Because after he built the temple that his daddy put all together, he went left. So, which legacy is greater? But the question is this: David's legacy was greater, but David's legacy is without the glory he wanted. And can you live a life that is more glorious in conduct, but maybe not in what you get out the deal? Is that a decent enough exchange for you? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Can you sit back here and live a life that's glorious in conduct, but maybe not in the reward you get? Because this is what David had to deal with. Can I commit, but still not maybe get the reward I'm expecting out of it, but still know that I did good works for the Most High? Continue.
Verse 9. Behold, a son shall be born to thee, who shall be a man of rest.
He said, he shall be a man of rest. But who created the rest?
Father.
So he says, this son is going to come after you that's going to get all the benefits from your sacrifice and dedication. And he's going to pretty much get the glory for your works. Now, deep down, you can live with it because it's your son. But you still want it yourself. Read on.
And I will give him rest from all his enemies round about.
But he gave him rest because of who? David's work. David put the work in for the son to have rest. Read on.
For his name shall be Solomon, and I will give him peace and quietness unto Israel in his days. He shall build an house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Israel forever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big question mark. You don't know how the person's finna be.
Okay.
All your work, you don't know how they finna address it, how they finna move with your work, your legacy, your efforts.
Okay. Listen, hold that and go to Romans 15, verse 1 through 4.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 1.
Let me pull that there because we're gonna get back to First Chronicles. I just want to go to this Romans real quick.
It's a good topic to bring out because it exposes kind of part of our natural. You wouldn't say it's selfish, but it's like, we have an incentive.
Well, we are selfish.
Well,
We listen. In the purest form, even in our good works and our good intentions, there's a tinge of selfishness there. Even when we have these expectations that don't align with the Most High. It's still selfish. Is it wicked to want more? No, it's not wicked to want more. But when you want more and your hope is deferred, how do you act? That's what exploits. That's what reveals the sickness. I guess so. The whole point is that it's nothing wrong with wanting things. But when you want things and what you want doesn't come to you and you get sick behind it, then it's negative. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to have the ability to want something and at the same time be an unprofitable servant. And that's not easy to navigate. But we have to stay in that place of wanting to achieve, wanting to push for goal, wanting to be the best we can be, and at the same time, hurrying up and wait. And be okay with the waiting process. Yes, sis? Huh? Well, we went into it earlier, in Proverbs 13 and 12, where it said, hope deferred maketh a man sick. When you're waiting for something,
It's the hearts.
and what you're waiting for something to work in your favor, and it doesn't come yet, people get sick. People react in a sick way. People get angry. People get depressed. People get frustrated. People sit back here and want to slow down their efforts for serving the Most High because there is an expectation of good to come, and the good doesn't come yet. Because in our mind, we do all this good. We do all this sacrifice. We've been good little boys and girls. We've been obedient. We've been reading the Torah, going to class, studying, and then we want our pound of flesh. When we don't get it, when the blessing isn't denied, it's just deferred. It's pushed back. Then we start acting differently. When the blessing that we're expecting doesn't come at the time we want it. And like we went into Luke 17, it's about learning how to wait. And the way you wait is to realize that you're an unprofitable servant. If I know that I'm an unprofitable servant, that means whether I get what I want or not, it doesn't change anything. I'm going to still do my job because I was called to do this job, whether I get what I want or not. Now, does that mean I don't want things? Hell yeah, I want things. But can I understand that I can fight to want things and fight to push for things and be okay if it doesn't come when I want it? That is that middle space we have to learn to be in. Sometimes, and the funny thing is, sometimes you'll get what you're waiting for. And sometimes you won't. Sometimes you won't. Yes, I'm going to get you too.
I just think though, like, part of that, those wars that we don't have to fight is all the information that we have now that's readily available. We don't have to fight for as long as you did to get that information.
It took a lot of losing. It took a lot of losing and not understanding why I'm losing to get to this point. Because I know people are like, why is the war always talking about being okay with having nothing? Why are we supposed to have nothing? Are we supposed to just love having nothing? No, it's not a spot. It's nothing wrong with having things. Having things, man. Nothing wrong with having things, man. Everybody wants things, man. Everyone wants goals and shoes, man, and tennis, man, and new cars and clothes, man. Who don't want that, man? House and the car. Everybody wants it. But we have to learn how to mitigate these expectations. And this is a fact. The work ethic that we think we should bring to the table to get X, Y, Z isn't most of the time the amount of work it takes to get what you want in righteousness. It is a different timetable, and until we learn to accept the Most High's time, everybody says, man, it's on God's time. Well, what the hell does that mean? It's on God's time. Does anybody really know what that means? Everybody says, we're on God's time, and God's time is always on time. Okay, we can listen. That sounds good and dandy, but what is that in application? Because most of the time, God's time is 10 times longer than you thought you was going to wait.
Yeah.
Can you accept that? And while you're waiting for God's time to actually happen, cool. But while you're waiting, how much you think? I'm unprofitable. I'm okay if I get nothing. I accept if I get nothing out the deal. Or it might take 5 more years to get what I want. I'm okay because it's not about, I'm not going to define my life based upon in Christ, based upon if I'm going to get this or not. Because that's where you get caught in your head trip. When is this going to happen? Then he goes into, what is the profit of serving the Lord if I'm not getting these things? Then there's a couple of steps from leaving. And this is why it's so important to learn how to navigate your expectations and how long you got to wait. It's life or death to last in this marathon called serving the Most High the truth. It is essential to grasp this. So, read on.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 1. We then that are strong are to bear the infirmities of the weak.
So read on.
And not please ourselves.
And then what is Paul saying? What we're supposed to do while we're waiting for these things we think we deserve. We have to bear the infirmities of the weak and be strong for them and not please ourselves, because our job is to continue teaching people who are faithless how to have faith. This is still an indirect faith class because we're teaching people how to wait for the Lord. We're teaching people how to wait for good things in their life. The Most High does reward. The Most High does bless. There is no doubt, and I can give 1,000 testimonies about how the Most High has been there for me in my life. But I'd be doing everyone in here a disservice if I overinflate that side and not teach how to wait. I'd be doing I'd be Joel Osteen on the mic. I can say, oh man, the Lord's great. Smile. You're supposed to have great things too. Let me tell you why your blessing's right around the corner. Like, that's not going to build your spirit up. You have to be strengthened with the understanding that this is going to be for the long haul. And if I get it or not, it don't matter. Because I can tell you the secret. This is the secret. It's to not want it no more. It's to not want it no more. Whatever the hell you want, be okay with not having it. Then you get it. Most of the time. I've learned that from living and doing this work. When I finally get to the point where, it don't matter if I get it or not. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be in this emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to trip, and there's not going to be no resentment behind it. I'm okay. I might not have used the word being an unprofitable servant, but I am okay with not having this. I've said this to myself in my life at least 3 to 4 times in major points of my life. I don't give a damn if I get it or not. I'm going to still do this work. I don't care if I'm going to be dried out from this blessing until Christ comes back. I've said this multiple times. I don't talk about it to people, but listen, I know what being dried out means. I know what not getting what you want looks like. I've been there, done that, and bought a t-shirt multiple years in my life. And every time I say, you know what? I've gone through years of not getting it, then I'm wrestling with it, and why oh me, why oh me, Lord? This ain't fair, I don't understand, Lord. Then I get mad at people around me that are letting me down. And then you sit back and say, you know what, man? The Most High got me going through this. The Most High is trying to teach me to wait and be okay whether I give you this or not. And I promise you, y'all, when I accepted, not just fake said it. People fake say things all the damn time. When you sit back and say, Father, I'm okay with not getting this. Thank you for what you've given me. And I appreciate what you've given me. When I made that statement, and I've done that multiple times, at least 3 to 4 times majorly in my life, then he gives me what I'm looking for. Because I stopped wanting it. And then he says, okay, now you're ready for it. Because having it doesn't change you. All I can tell you is that was the life I lived, and I experienced that. When I'm okay with not having it, then you get it. But then it doesn't mean as much to you.
Then you can't enjoy it.
Well, you can't enjoy it as much because you weren't supposed to. We were making an idol of it in the first place, and that's why he didn't give it to us. It was an idol. So until you stop making it an idol, and it's just a tool to get you to the next step in serving Christ. That was the lesson. It wasn't supposed to be about that. It was supposed to be about what you learned and how you grew and how you got closer to him. And sometimes, but then in our immaturity, we sit back and work for carrots, like where horses at. We work for carrots. Yeah. We work for rewards. And that's how carnal we are. And how the Most High teaches us to stop working for a carrot and work for the lesson. And when we learn that, then he'll give you the outside things you need, not what you want. Then your need versus want scale starts to change. When what you want stops being so damn important, and what's important is the growth you're gaining from it. All I can tell you is when you get to that point, you get what you're looking for. Once what you're looking for doesn't matter, and once you realize what you get doesn't change your service to the Father. That's the secret. Now, you have to sit back and study and read and meditate and counsel about it and accept what the Most High in your eyes have deprived you from or has deferred from you. Can you accept the deference? Say, Father, I'm okay with being deferred in perpetuity. It's cool. It's not going to change what I do for you. Once you learn that, then you're truly powerful. Now you're powerful in Christ. Because nothing's going to sway you. Nothing's going to break you. Very few things can break you. That's the power we're trying to teach people to accept in this realm. Not just be broken, have nothing, and be a nothing and a nobody. That's not that. If people know me, I don't like whack stuff. I just miss some lame-ass loser dude who don't want nothing. And if I had nothing, they going to be nothing. That's not me, man. That's not me. If you know me, I want the best of everything. But I understand you can have the best of everything, but you're being a spoiled brat when you trip when you don't get the best of everything. We can be spoiled brats. I want the best, and nothing but the best. Okay. Listen, well, you're going to be broke and see how it feels to be broke. And learn how to be broken down.
And still give the best.
And still give your best. Then, most likely going to be like, are you only giving your best because you have this expectation of the life you want to live? Or you don't give your best when I bring you down low. That's why he brings you down low, to break pride. And your pride is broken when you say, I'm an unprofitable servant. I do what I'm supposed to.
So you mean it.
It doesn't matter what I do. That's what it. It only works if you mean it. And you accept it. Yes, sis.
I just mean that sometimes I pray for things, and then when I have it, I'm like, oh, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah, because you wanted more. How about that?
No, well, she answered and gave me what I wanted, what I was praying for, but it's just not like all I thought it was.
That's you wanted more. That's just, I heard you the first time. You wanted more, and he gave you what you needed versus what you wanted. And that's us being the spoiled brats. And I'm glad you brought it out. Not knocking you, but you said the quiet thing out loud. You said the quiet thing out loud. Everybody else thinks that. You know, this, I want a blessing, and you get like, thanks. Thanks for the blessing, Father. I'll go back to work and do your work. That's what we do all the damn time. Yeah, like this. Duado. Like this. You ever give a kid a present like this, and they get it, and their face tells you this is bull crap. And like this. Hey, you like it?
Yeah.
And they did it. And as soon as you turn your head, this is us. Because we're unappreciative, hateful, and ungrateful people. That's what we are. So with the Most High, is that?
Yeah, you're right, man. You know how I was speaking, so I'm right there. I was like,
I know, but like, come on, what is it? I'm supposed to sit back here. What's this message about? This ain't God, is it? This can't be the Lord. This can't be the word of the Lord.
but you know what? You're right. Kawhi threw a beautiful message this morning, man. And it's actually a prelude to this class. And you know, through this class, he showed all the scripture where this is the way it is. I mean, it's been anointed to be this way.
God, when you choose to live spiritually, because there's two different ways we can live in this world. I can live carnally and do the worldly way to excel and exceed, or you can live this type of life, and there's a different set of rules that we have to live by. And a lot of times we don't understand the rules of living this way. There's a certain way to get attention from the Most High. There's a certain way to get recognition and blessed. Then there's a certain way in the world to operate to get things. In this realm, you have to wait the intended period of time that you were supposed to wait from the beginning. In the world, you can take shortcuts, compromise this, compromise this and get what you want quicker. In this realm, everything's about painstaking work and diligence and waiting and learning how to wait to get what you want. And the blessings are incrementally there.
Exactly what Daviad was saying. The world, you get what you want, but you pay in the form of death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with us, you pay with the affliction, the tribulation,
God.
the downfall, the not getting what
God.
you want. But
And Paul called that glorious. Paul called that glory.
right.
See, you see how Paul was so great at spinning, living spiritually. He said, "This is the best thing since sliced bread, living this way, man." And he didn't sit back here and overemphasize the hardness. But when he did talk about hard, he said it was glorious. You ever see those old war movies? He says, "Die glorious and go to Valhalla." Afterwards, like, damn, man, I had to die and then be glorious in Valhalla, my dude. Can I sit back and enjoy my life out here, dude? I gotta go die. I'm gonna go crazy so I can die to go to Valhalla. This is crazy talk, huh? I gotta go to Viking heaven to get me hyped up to go kill myself in war. This is the truth.
But you do find out that God takes care of you. If you have the faith,
Yeah.
it all works.
And can you wait?
It works out. And yeah, so I'm learning this new way, and I'm getting.
And I think the camp is learning it. It takes time to say the same thing a bunch of different ways, but it's not the message is not with the intention of browbeating people and tearing people down and tearing away a person's desire to achieve and want beautiful things. There's nothing wrong with wanting good things, but what for the greater thing that we want, we have to learn from the beginning how hard you have to work to get the small blessing, how much you have to fix in you to get the small blessing, and then build on top of that. If we can learn that, then sky's the limit. This is when you read in Ecclesiastes, I think chapter 4, Most High says he has to, wisdom takes us through crooked paths. Wisdom isn't just plain basic intelligence. The wisdom we talked about on Saturday, the wisdom is the Spirit takes you through crooked paths. When the Spirit's trying to develop you, the Spirit takes you through all these ups and downs and losses and pains and discomfort. And then he takes you through that until the Spirit can trust you. It says that in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Listen, when the Most High is taking you through these extended periods of loss, because he don't trust you. For what he's about to give you, he got to trust you. And he got to see, like anybody, if I don't trust you in the streets, what you got to do? You got to sit back here and throw hands on that guy out here. You got to sit back here and possibly sit down for a year or two. Then I'll trust. Then I'll believe. Now, how about, you ever see Goodfellas? They didn't trust old boy, the Irish guy, until he sat back here and he was selling cigarettes illegally. Then he got popped. And he didn't say nothing. Now he said, now we can trust. Hey! He's part of the family.
Yeah.
And you had to sit back here and be threatened to sit down and take a bid to be trusted. That's what they do in the world, right? Yep. You got to sit back here and take the fall yourself. Now the thing is, they knew the judge, and they got him off on the technicality. But that kid didn't know that. That kid was like, I got to sit back here and sit down and be in jail for 5 years for this crap. Am I going to sit back and snitch on the guys who got me, or am I going to eat this 5 years like a G? When he chose to eat those 5 years, then the Italian guinea said, okay, I trust this guy. Bring him closer to the organization. We're going to take care of him now. Your family. If we understand that in the world, you think just getting put on a set is enough? I'm going to beat you up, you're going to fight, and now he's in? Come on, man. That's not enough.
Not real.
You got to sit back and take a risk and stick your neck out there. And then you show your mettle then. The Most High is the same way with us. We got to earn that trust. I'm not giving you what you want off rip. You got to lose, then I can trust you. That's what Ecclesiastes 4 talks about. But we think because it is the Most High, he don't look at earning trust the same way. The Most High says, the scripture, the Most High is a man of what? Of war. So he needs to see how you act in combat.
That's what he sees.
And what's combat? Loss.
Yep.
Getting punches, getting blows, taking blows, and still being loyal. He needs to see that. Does that like Guinea wisdom make sense to Israelite? We understand Italian gang Guinea wisdom. That makes sense to us. But I understand the ways of the Most High. I don't understand how the Most High is thinking.
Why is he asking for
Why
so
is he
many-
doing these?
He asked for so much.
Why is he putting me on the set and making me lose things to earn his trust? Because that's the Most High. Because we think the Most High is about just giving out participation rewards, and juice boxes and oranges, orange slices, You showed up, here's an orange slice and some Capri Sun.
Good job.
You did good. Let me give you a trophy even though you didn't win a damn game this year. That's what's happening nowadays in the streets, If my kid sat back here and didn't win a game, I would say, take that shit back. You ain't taking no trophies. Sprinkles are for winners, Trophies are for winners. Participation trophy. Get out of here, man. Son. Anyway. You get the point.
Some of them probably did.
I know they did. A lot of Israel, you showed up. You were getting rewarded because you showed up and gave half-ass effort and got smoked every Saturday morning. You got smoked every Saturday morning. I'm going to cheer for you because you got smoked and didn't play defense. Your jersey was shiny as hell. You had that shiny jersey all game. The shiniest jersey. Your cleats aren't dirty. You're the best dressed athlete on the field. Didn't get nothing done. And I'm supposed to be happy, I'm be proud about that. I'm like, we're gonna do some ladders. You gotta pay for this. Because you're gonna pay for this lunch I'm about to buy you. In sweat. In dedication, You'll be in some footwork drill, something. Can you kick the ball? Can you practice kicking the ball, dog? You gotta do something, dog. This is not acceptable, man. I'm wasting my time watching you just waste time on the field. Maybe that's an extreme dad's perspective. But I'm not wasting my time watching you just slack around and do nothing. That's ridiculous. And if the dad don't say it, he thinks it. He doesn't know how to express himself. You bring your kid to the game and he just don't even try. Listen, if you ain't got no kid, I won't tell you, but if you do, you ain't gonna sit back here in the cold he's just playing like trash Junior, he's trying. He came up. He woke up today. Hell no.
I haven't seen it. And then they go to McDonald's and Junior's smoking.
Yeah, and you got more energy in the play. And you got more energy in the playhouse than on the field. You ran there, you jumping on the damn playhouses on the monkey bars. You jumping and swinging. When you couldn't speak on the field. Why weren't you talking on the field, dog? You can yell and scream in the damn playhouse,
That's crazy.
Listen, nah, bro. I'm not blowing money for that. Dog. I don't know how to teach rec sports. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Some people, I guess they can. I can't do it. Anyway, what am I trying to say? The Most High is not about sitting back here and it's rewarding for nothing. You got to put in. And he's going to try you and test you. And can you accept while he's testing you and he's deferring what you want? And your expectations are deferred. Can you accept how long it takes to wait? Because this is what he's expecting you to do. This is what David had to deal with. But read Romans 15 and verse 2 now.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 2. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
So even when we're not getting what we want out the deal, can we live, work on what's inside of ourselves, fix the things in us while we're waiting so that the people around us can be edified? Because the thing is this, what are you going to be doing while you're waiting for these deferred blessings to come?
These doors are open up.
While you're waiting for these doors to open up, you got to make sure that your works and your dedication is still for something. So let me make the sacrifices and changes I got to make so that other people can learn and grow from it. This is why we teach about being an in-sample all the time. So we talk about brothers teaching ribs at home, sitting back here and leading and making it about not about yourself. Because when your hope is being deferred, You want to be sick and angry about what you're not getting. But you're supposed to divert the energy to the sick and learning how to be strong so that they can grow and they can learn. Read on, and not. It's never about you. Read verse 2 again.
Verse 2. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. For even Yahushua pleased not himself, but as it is written.
So he said Christ didn't even please himself. So Christ understood it wasn't about what he was getting out the deal. Christ had to live a life that was selfless and made it about being strong for other people. Listen, you have to be strong for other people when you realize you might not get what you want out the deal. When you realize you might not get what you want out the deal, then I got to sit back and make it a. Then what? Where does the goal and the motivation have to be drawn from? If what you're working for might not work out the way you want, then you have to learn to dedicate and to bust your tail so that others can grow from your example. Others can grow from what you're going through.
That's when you find the fulfillment.
And that's when you realize your motivations are pure. When it no longer is about me and what I may or may not get, but it's about edifying other people. And maybe what I'm going through can help the next generation coming back up. That's how you purify your dedication. Read on.
Verse 3. For even Yahushua pleased not himself.
Christ didn't please himself. David didn't please himself. They both, and along with Moses, these guys all sat back. Hell, even Abraham. Abraham sacrificed and dedicated and walked the land he would never rule. Moses said, Abraham, I want you to walk all of Canaan. This is going to be your children's 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 children's. He didn't even promise he was going to go to Isaac and Jacob. Because did he go to Isaac and Jacob? Abimelech was king of that land. He says, you had to sit back here and throw your life away for a nation of children you're never going to see. Why is that important? When you realize it's not about what you're getting out the deal, you got to make your life about being strong and developing yourself so you can be a greater service to the nation. It's how you detach your selfishness and activate your true power. It's in changing and sacrificing for righteousness' sake, for character's sake, because the Most High is watching. Read on.
For even Yahushua pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me.
He said, Christ had to deal with all the reproaches, all the anger, all the discontentment. And he had to absorb that and show Israel a what? A better way. And if you really realize what the power of Christ is, it's about absorbing the sicknesses of others and showing people a more spiritual way to process it. If we're successful at doing that, we really understand what this is about. He will bless you. He will give you the things you need. But it's not going to be on your timetable, and it might not be exactly what you're looking for. But he's going to give you what you need. And while you're waiting, while your hopes is being deferred, can you dedicate your effort and your time to your people and give them what they need? Read on.
Verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Listen, it was written for our learning. Everything that David experienced, everything that David went through, we were supposed to learn it and figure out how to learn lessons and strengthen other people's lives so they can learn, like we explained earlier, this way of looking at things that's so opposite of how we are taught in the world how to think.
Which is the correct biblical template from the best archetypes in the Bible that got the best response from the Father. So that we can get the best response from the Father.
Yep. Read Hebrews 11, verse 13. I'm jumping because we're running out of time. Hebrews 11, verse 13 through 15.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 13 reads, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off.
This is 13, right? What he's saying is a lot of holy men died in faith, meaning died not getting what they were expecting. Read verse 13 again.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises.
So listen, a lot of us do the right thing, commit, and not get what you look for. Not get what you expected was going to come your way. But can you be okay with dying in faith? What does that mean? You lived, you committed, you did that which is right, and that's all that matters. If you got what you wanted out the deal, what you thought you deserved or what you wanted, doesn't matter. Did you do your job for the Most High and please Him? Like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did, because that's what Hebrews 11 is talking about. When it talks about Noah, talk about Abel, all these men lived in faith. They dedicated, they did the right thing, even though their expectations weren't met. Read on.
Come. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off.
What does that mean? Can you sit back here, live your life the right way, do everything right, see what can happen, what can be achieved, but maybe you don't have time to get to it? Can you live a life of commitment and dedication? Gain blessings, gain good things that happen to you in your life, but maybe not what you wanted. Just like Abraham saw promises, but couldn't live it. Read on.
And were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
He said they were persuaded of them and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on earth. When it says they embraced, they were persuaded in themselves, they embraced the reality that they were still what? Pilgrims and strangers on earth. They didn't get the end result that they were looking for. Because to be a pilgrim and a stranger means what? To be a pilgrim and a stranger means what?
It means you live in day by day travel.
And you don't finally get the chance to settle down and relax. And what do you call it, a war?
Put down roots.
Put down roots, or necessarily like embrace and get all the benefits of your hard work and your dedication. These guys, whether it's Abel, Noah, Abraham, all the guys you're reading about in Hebrews 11 that deals with faith, they accepted and they were okay that they weren't going to be in a place where they can be comfortable and settle down.
Rest in the Lord.
And rest in their laurels and just bask in their rewards. Because when you are a pilgrim and a stranger on earth, just like Christ said, didn't Christ say foxes have holes?
Birds have nests.
But Christ don't have a place to stay. He's saying the same thing. I don't have a place where I get to settle down and just be comfortable. Because when you're serving the Most High, sometimes you're not going to get that comfort that you seek so much. The comfort is in knowing that you're pleasing the Most High and you're doing His will. Because the great ones never got comfortable. The great ones always had more to fight, and he let the great ones see what was going to come, but you didn't necessarily get it. Just like David. He saw what was going to come from his hard work, but he didn't get the glory from it. Abraham saw what was going to come, but he didn't get the glory from it. All right? He was the trendsetter. He set the tone, but he didn't get the glory for the kingdom, for that land. Moses did all that work and he saw what the nation was going to get. He didn't get a chance to get it. All that means is sometimes your purposes don't go the way you want it, and what you want you don't always get. But can you be okay with the journey? Can you be okay with the lessons He teaches you on the way? Can you be in a good spirit while He's teaching you and developing you, and you might come short with what you might want, but you might fall short with what you might want, but He would have blessed you many more times leading up to that point. Read on. Did you? Where are you at? What verse you at?
Verse 14.
Yeah, read verse 14.
For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
They seek a country, or they want an ending point where they can sit back and rest and be comfortable. Read on.
And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned.
So he says, if they were mindful about how this is going to go out, maybe they would have sit back here and returned back home. Sometimes people have always said, if I would have known what I know now, would I have actually did this? Who knows? Sometimes people, I married this person. I didn't know this is the life that I'm looking at. This is so hard. This is the same thing with these men. If they knew that what they were going to have to give up, would they have given it up in the first place? Who knows? But once you're calling and you're chosen to serve the Most High, can you deal and accept the cards that you've been dealt? And appreciate the blessings, the ups and the downs and the highs and lows, and embrace it as lessons and opportunities to get closer to the Heavenly Father. You done with that verse? Verse 15?
Yeah, 15.
Okay, let that verse go. And we're going to sit back here and do Ezekiel 37. And we're going to go real quick into what was David's reward. Because there's many more chapters that deal with everything David did to prepare for Solomon to gain the glory and get the blessing. But, we're running low on time. So we're going to find out what was his reward for his dedication. Besides the Psalms that were written and the stories of valiance and great deeds he did, what does David get for his commitment and sacrifice on earth for 30 years of war and 10 years of preparation for the temple? What was his reward for that? It is Ezekiel chapter 37, verse, let me see, I have it right here. Verse 24 and 25.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 24. And David my servant shall be king over them.
Listen, in the next life, David was going to be rewarded with being the king. Now, we know the king really is Christ. But at the time, the prophecy was, listen, when everything is said and done and we get back to our power, David's going to lead the nation. This was the prophecy. So the reward for David's commitment was upper level leadership at the end. And can we sit back here and deal with that transaction? Can we deal with the reality for our commitment and dedication? The greatest part of the reward comes after. He blesses us now. He gives us the things we need to sustain ourselves. But the greatest blessing is later, after we pass. Does that mean we're going to have nothing here? No. You're going to get blessings now, but the greatest of your reward and glory comes afterwards. Just like when you sit back and read 2 Ezra 2, when that tall, statured man gives all these men crowns for their commitment. The greatest reward is then. But you have to go and deal and sacrifice and be that pilgrim on the earth until you get rewarded at the end. Can you deal with that acceptance? Or you get your glory now on earth and lose it on the back end. Read on.
David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes.
So once again, Solomon didn't get that. He wasn't rewarded this. But he was rewarded the opportunity to build the temple. David forfeited the glory on earth and will get a great position in the kingdom. So when you're dealing with the levels of trials and sacrifice and dedication that you got to go through here, just know you do get rewarded here. But the greatest of the rewards are later. And we have to understand that process. You get taken care of here. Maybe not at the expectation level you want, but you will get blessed. You will be considered. You will grow in spirit, and he will bless you according to your works and your commitment level. And after that, you'll get the greatest blessing on the back end, the eternal blessing. Read on.
Middle 24. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. They shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever.
Listen, the perpetual position of being the prince when New Jerusalem is set up was the reward for David, not getting the credit and the glory in the terrestrial plane of building the temple, even though, so think about this, he put all that work in to be the prince at the end. If you look at it, he put 30 years of war and 10 years of preparation for the temple to get to be a prince when Christ comes back. Can you deal with that transaction? That you're going to sit back on earth, have highs and lows, blessings and challenges, and know that because of that, you get rewarded in this next kingdom. That should also help balance you out when you're going through tough times. Are there any questions? There's more we can go, but I think we stop there and leave it at that point. Yes, sir.
So, in other words, we think bigger picture when we find out Most High is looking at things generation-wise.
Generational, and then he has a plan of, he has an idea of what he wants to bless you with, what he isn't going to bless you with. Don't forget, Paul said, listen, can this cup pass me what I'm going through? He said, my grace is sufficient for me. I mean, there's certain things you're just going to have to tough out and suffer. Right. Paul had issue with his sight. You're not going to escape that. And listen, maybe for his works, don't you think the Most High would just give him a blessing because he was a hard worker and he dedicated his life? He said, no, I'm not giving you this one. You're going to have to suffer this one too. So what is he saying? I'm not giving you everything you want. You're going to have to take some losses. But for all the losses you're taking and you still do things the right way, you get rewarded for that on the end. While he blesses you and gives you the things you need on earth. Just not at the level that you might have expected.
We need to stop expecting what we feel like we are more than deserving of, even at times like King David was in this life, in this same life.
But how do you learn that? You set the bar high and you learn to deal with what you get. It doesn't mean don't try for nothing. I ain't gonna do nothing. No, you still raise the bar high and learn to appreciate what you get in return. You still have to do that. You still have to give it all up.
Keep your foot on the gas.
You got to put your foot on the gas. You can't stop it.
And whatever.
Go straight and take a right, man. You're gonna be able to make it. Kind of. And then you appreciate and accept whatever the Most High incrementally gives you at the timetable He gives you.
It's a good one, Armand. But at the same time, you go generationally what you're looking for.
Yes. While you're waiting, while you're living in that deferred time,
right.
Who are you doing it for? Why are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing and changing to edify the people around you. It's still not about you. It's like Christ didn't do it for him.
It's bigger than him.
It's bigger than the individual. And that's how you stay humble while you're being reminded that you are an unprofitable servant. Make sense? We should probably go over it again to get it drilled in our heads. I advise you do that. Yes, sir.
That also ties in with our righteousness being in filthy rags.
God, because it's, you know why? You know what that means? If our righteousness is filthy rags, that means it's still corruptible in there. There's still corruption there. Even in our best days, there's filth there. And we have to keep working on ourselves and hope and pray the Most High appreciates and accepts our offerings.
We're grateful for that.
We better be. Learn how to be unprofitable servants. Yes.
And also, I learned from this past that in 2 Thessalonians 1:4-5, going through all of the things that you'll go through, the tribulations, the getting let down, and all the things we're talking about. And what happens is, because of that, a token is manifested on your behalf. And that was
on your
relief.
Yeah.
For that there's something
Well, the token is the Most High is acknowledging your sacrifice,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get it here, but you're gonna get it more in the end
Right.
for your dedication.
Right.
And you know, it goes into Matthew 13. I didn't go to the verse, but the kingdom is about sitting back and giving everything you got up here for a land that you don't really know about. You sell this land for that land. You don't know if there's minerals in there. You don't know if there's oil in this. You don't know what's in here. It's just land.
Right.
And you got to sit back here and give everything you got up here for that and live with the results.
Correct. Good or bad.
With that, y'all, we're going to shut it down. Tomorrow for tuning in. Shalom, Shalom, God, Wednesday. See y'all on Wednesday. Shalom.